girls are eating in the canteen. The schoolyard bully is coming. Pour a drink into a girl's meal. Threaten her to eat it. Girls are afraid to fight back. Had to do it. Who knows school bully become worse. Flip over the food. The little fat guy sitting across the street can't watch anymore. Gave several people a stern reprimand. But the other side didn't hold back. Instead, they burst into laughter. A boy came up to Sal Pang and taunted him. You're a weak chicken. Wait for me after school. But he doesn't know. Now the little fat is not the same as before. It will have to start a few days ago. Mark owns a car and a mansion. There are a lot of followers. In the underworld, that day he stood on the side of the road talking on the phone. Suddenly a fat man fell from the top of the building. Mark was momentarily knocked unconscious. He was already in hospital when he woke up. Mark walked out of the ward in a daze. People passing by call him students. He's confused. Found the wounded unconscious next to him. That man is himself. Then Mark looked into the mirror, touching a strange face. He was shocked and speechless. However, he had to return to his own home. Once inside, his wife thought he was a gangster, scared to pick up a knife, no matter how Mark explained it. But the wife wouldn't listen. Then he called the police and was arrested. No way out. He had to go home with his little fat dad. The next day little fat dad dropped Mark off at school. It just so happened Mark wants to find out what happened to Pudgy. He went into the classroom. The students hated running to him. Mark took a seat at random. At noon he came to the canteen for dinner, and I see school bullies picking on Mary, a girl in my class, so he immediately put a stop to it. I didn't expect the school bully to ask him to fight. Mark arrived as promised after school. School bullies don't know what they're looking at. Now he's a gangster.
쟤이 나랑 안 맞아?
Come home at night. Mark flipped through the video from his phone. It turns out that Mary and Sal Pang are in the same boat. They were bullied at school. The day it was smashed, Mary was caught on the roof by a school bully. The shoes were still attached to the antenna. School bully Shane, big little fat. Tell him to take his shoes off. Little fat had to do it. He climbed the fence. Unexpectedly, he lost his center of gravity, fell and hit Mark. High school student accidentally switched bodies with a mob boss. Little brother looks at the high school student in front of him. I have no idea. He's actually his own boss. Little brother thinks little fat is here to make trouble. Grab your fist and hit it. And he was easily overpowered by Mark. See, little brother is loyal to his heart. Mark decided to tell him the truth. Little brother doesn't believe me. At once Mark got to the bottom of him. The little brother hesitated and pinched Mark. This look, no doubt he's the boss. Little brother talked Mark into it. Don't go back to your body. Your young body right now. How many people dream of it? After school the next day, Mark saw Mary's Muppet fall. He went after her and gave it back to Mary. It happened that Xiao Lan's mother came to pick up her daughter. Mark was stunned. This is not their first love. Mark couldn't resist calling out her name. Mary's mother froze. A young man called himself by his first name. She chased Mark angrily. Mark hurriedly ran away. On my way home, Mark recalls the sweet old days. For the future, he abandoned his first love with a cruel heart. Suddenly Mark thought of a possibility. He asked his little brother to get his own hair and pulled out Mary's hair. Take it for DNA testing. The result was guessed by him. Mary is really his daughter. Mark found his first love. About Mary being bullied at school. First love breaks down and cries. It turns out that many years ago, Mark wanted to be the head of the club. Abandoned your first love. Married the daughter of a syndicate owner. His first love did not wish to delay his future. It's all about being pregnant. She raised Mary by herself. Mary, however, had no father. A lot of bullying. Mark had a hard time learning the truth. Decided to help her daughter. He dragged Mary to the gym. She got her little brother to teach her how to fight. Mark is also training hard. Just a month, he became the most popular boy in the school. The focus is everywhere. At noon the next day, school bully finds Mary again. Put his hands on her. They don't know yet. Mary is not the girl she used to be bullied by. Mary overpowered the girl school bully twice. Gave them a hard lesson. Mark at the side smiled with relief. In the evening Mark came to the hotel of his first love. Look at the man in front of you. Apart from the looks, it's like the heartless man of the old days. First love goes after Mark. Mark doesn't want to be full anymore and confessed everything, knowing that the little fat guy in front of him was actually Mark. First love can't be accepted. Threw him out. The pair did not know at this point. Their daughter was killed by an ill-intentioned senior. Is taking it to a birthday party. Mary went to the school senior's birthday party, but the senior is a bad man. He made Mary drink a big bowl of wine in public. After Mary refused, the senior finally showed his ugly face, swearing and poured the wine on Mary's head. Next to her, the gangsters gathered her in the middle. Step by step. Moment of truth. Mark arrived in time. He took care of Mary, and then taught the school bullies a hard lesson. The other side, while Mark was in a physical coma, his wife transferred the company's property in a joint effort, and planned for all this. It was framed by the unconscious Mark. A few days later, Mark, who's been in a coma, and finally woke up to see myself become an uncle. Sal Pang came home crying to find his father, but little fat dad wouldn't believe such a weird thing. Fortunately, Mark was just home to explain the whole story. The next day, The two went together and explained their first love. Mark and his first love finally got over their differences. And then later, Mark found himself framed by his wife. Mark had to ask little Fatty to wear miniature headphones, tell him to his father-in-law before he left. He told Chubby, "You can say what I say." After the exchange of words, the wife was dying about Mark having a daughter out there. At this moment, the earphones of Small Fat suddenly did not have the signal. He was at a loss how to deal with it. In a hurry, Little Fat took it upon himself to admit everything, and he took the liberty of deciding for Mark. Gave up all his property, all these years, for the sake of profit. "I just want to be with my beloved family now." The father-in-law expressed his understanding. After listening to what Little Fat said, Mark finally let go of his greed. "And I let myself go. See you again." He thought he was going to get beaten up, but Mark clung to him. Then they got their souls back. 6 months later, Mark opened a ramen shop with his first love. Little Fat Daddy works here. Mark's little brother also came to help, but the biggest winner in life, that would have to be Chubby. In exchange for the soul, he's got a good look, became a popular king of the school, and the harvest of love.